Hello, friends. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Today is another installment of Heartfelt Creation Friday. So I have been gone for a week. I went to Boston, and then when I got back, I just had a lot going on in my life that I just had to take care of. So I kind of let my personal channel have a Monday and a Friday where I didn't have anything to offer. I was still on Whimsy's channel and on Heartfelt's channel, but I didn't create for this space. But I'm back at it. I'm kind of caught up on everything, and I'm excited to be back crafting with you here at Carrie Lee Creations. All right, let's take a look at our project. Okay, so today I have a just a fun birthday card. I have not played with the asters in a while, and I just had some of this paper from the Feathery Florals, and I thought, you know what, I am going to use the asters. So this is what I came up with. So I'm going to show you the products that I used to make this very fun, and there's a lot going on, but I think it all works together. I really liked it. So let's take a look at the products. So besides, these are the aster set, and the aster is a little unique in that when you stamp the pieces, you get multiple sizes at the same time. But usually when I create them using the same size together. So that's kind of nice. So if you stamp this 3 times, you're going to be able to make each flower 3 times. So that's kind of neat, rather than just one flower by stacking them up. Hopefully that makes sense. And then of course you have the leaf. For my supporting pieces, I decided to use the Feathery Florals. So I used these 2 sets, and on those I used this one. And I stamped that in a ombre with 3 different colors. And then for this one, I used this little one, and I used this one. And for this one, I stamped it in the ombre, just like I did the other stamp. But I also stamped both of these on vellum, and I heat embossed it in avocado wow embossing powder. So I just wanted a nice pale color. I didn't really want anything that competed. If I was going to do it again, I might use a little bit darker green. I didn't think it showed up very well on the vellum, but I still liked it well enough to use it on my project because it's really just for filler in the background. But I did do those on acetate and emboss. So there we go. For my dies, I used the ornate ovals, which I like this set because the ovals are a little bit smaller than some of the ones that have come out lately have been kind of great big ones, where this one is a little bit smaller. You can see it here on the card. It fits perfectly here to highlight something on an A7 card, which is what this is. And I used multiple pieces within here. And then for our expression, I just used this happy birthday from the birthday sentiments. All right, so I kind of have my pile of goodies here. This paper comes from the Feathery Florals. I don't know if you noticed on my original, but besides the happy birthday, I also put one of these little banners up here, and this one says "To a Beautiful You." And I really liked kind of adding to my sentiment by having these little banners. And whoops. From my pieces that I had a Just Because and a Thinking of You. And I think for this card, I'm going to use the Thinking of You. I'll set my flower pieces aside for a moment so we can look at our Feathery Florals. So these are the Feathery Florals, and I do have these pre-done. I'm not going to like go through doing it with you, but I did ombre these with the Forget-Me-Not, the Majestic Violet, and the Cactus Flower. Excuse me. And I did both of them the same way. I did come back and add just a little bit of the Cactus Flower to color, to add a little bit more dimension in there. But other than that, they're just ombre stamped. And if you have not ever ombre stamped, there's several videos over on Heartfelt Creation that will take you through that process. And one of these days here on my channel, I may do that. But for this one, I just went ahead and did it ahead of time. Here are my 2 pieces that I stamped on vellum and heat embossed in the sage, or no, the avocado. And we're going to do something a little different here. Let me put my glasses on. I didn't need this piece that big for this card, so I'm actually going to cut it right down in there. Now I'm going to come on this side and cut right down in there. And I'm going to use this piece on its own. And I'm going to use this piece on its own. So that's got a little section. So now instead of having only 2, I have 3. So this cuts apart real nicely if you're going to use it as filler underneath your elements. Then for my card base, I have just an A7, which is 5 by 7. I've cut myself a solid piece that matches my paper. On the first time I used purple. On this one it's going to have kind of a teal green color, and that just came out of my scrap box. But I'm going to layer those up on the front. I cut the largest oval out of the deluxe silver. Whoops. Oh, here they are. Out of my oval sets, I used the largest eyelet oval, and then the piece on the inside that will give you a nice edge. And I cut that out of just another piece of the feathery floral paper, and I'm going to layer that up inside. Now on my original, I had this piece cut out of white, but I decided I wanted to try it out of the silver to match the other frame. And then I stamped, whoops, upside down. I stamped my happy birthday in the majestic violet, and I cut that out with one of the oval dies that fit perfectly inside this frame. So Heartfelt Creation is very good about that. They design their products to work together, so this oval fits perfectly inside of that frame. All right, so we'll put these aside, and we're going to go ahead and create our asters. So to create the asters, I actually have 2 foam pieces that I'm going to stack on top of each other. Now, if you only have 1 piece of foam, you can fold it over. But since I have 2, it's easier here on the video to just use the 2. And I think I'm going to need a few more. I have some more leaves over here that I'm going to use. So I told you when you stamp them, you get multiple pieces to get the sizes you need. So I didn't need those sizes, so I just left them there in my bag. But I'm going to pull out some more of the leaves. For my tips, I've got one that's kind of large and then kind of a medium. And on these leaves, I'm going to just press in different places on the front and the back, doing them all different. No 2 will be alike. I just want a very random kind of leaf going on. You see how I'm doing that? Just pressing down in the different areas on the front and the back. And some of them I'm not pressing on, some of them I am. You know, I just want those leaves to look just like all different, if you can see them. I don't like all my leaves to look the same. You know, when you look at a flower bush, your leaves are always very random. All right, for these pieces on these outer ones, I'm just going to add some curve, but other than that, I'm not going to do much to them because they're going to be cut apart when we get ready to use them. Same with these 2. I'm just going to add a little bit of shape just to that feather part out at the end. Other than that, I'm not going to do anything to those. The vellum pieces, I'm not going to shape at all. And now for the exciting part. So for the largest flower, on my sample card here, it's in blue, but this time I'm going to do it in pink. So I am going to turn it over, and on every single one, I'm just going to draw my, excuse me, coughing. I'm going to draw my stylus down the petal. You see how that works? And you can kind of see I'm doing it lighter and softer on different ones so that some curl up a lot tighter than others. But just like my leaves, I like that variety. Now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to run my stylus around in the center here, getting those to pop up just like that. And you see how some of them start to overlap each other? That's the exact look that I'm going for. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this one, and these I am going to bring up a little bit tighter than the first one because it's going to sit down inside of that one. So you see how I've got these curled up? I'm going to take my stylus and run it right around the circle up close to the base of the flowers, and that is going to get those to pull in even tighter. See what I'm doing there? All right, now I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing. Get those petals out. There we go. This is where it's really handy that you have two of the pads. If you only have one, you can't get those petals to come up. So it is worthwhile to turn that upside down so that you can really pull those in tight. Isn't that fun? I love the way this flower behaves. Look at that, how it just twists and turns. Gorgeous. Now we will put these two together in just a moment. And let me look. Do I have... It looks like I actually did 3. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do one more just on this bigger flower. I'll do it a little bit faster here. Because really all the asters are made a similar way just by pulling down. So now that I've kind of shown you the steps, I think this might be my lowest one. All right, now for this one, this is going to be the inner little bulb here. And to do it, you can color the inside the same color as the outside. And you're going to kind of do the same thing. You're going to pull those all in. And while it's like this, go ahead and run your circle in there really tight. And then you're going to bring these all together. Okay? Now, depending on how tight you want it, you can just leave it like this where it's kind of opened. And if you want those to be completely closed, what I do is I bring them together, maybe 3 of them, and I add glue to them. Then I take these top ones and put on the glue, and I use my reverse tweezers, and I go in there and I just hold it until that dries. Then when it's dry, I add a little more glue and I put these down on it. And same thing, I use my tweezers to hold that down. Okay? Then the final ones on the other side, same thing. I add some glue and hold that down. And if I can find a little hole to put my tweezers in, I reach in there and hold it down again. So it takes 2 or 3 times to get them all glued down. But when you're all done, you'll have a nice closed bud. All right, but you can also use it like this where it's more open. So it's really just up to you how much you're wanting your flower to look like it's opening up. So on this one, it's still closed up. It hadn't started opening. Maybe it's first thing in the morning. The sun hasn't woke up. These, of course, are already completely bloomed out. So for our flower today, we'll go ahead and create it and decide which one we want to use. Okay, so let's go ahead and make, let's see, what sizes do I have here? Okay, for our blue one, I'm going to use 2 mediums and 1 small. And then for our purple, let's use 2 large, nope. Yeah, let's use 2 large and 1 medium. So on my original card, I only have 1 big one and 2 of the smaller ones, but this time we're going to have 2 bigger ones and 1 small one. So it doesn't matter on our sizes. We can just do whatever we like. So let me go ahead and I'll put these together real quick. So I'd love to hear in the comments if the wild aster is a flower that you have And is it one that you enjoy making? I think it's a really fun flower to make because you just get that. I love the way these little skinny petals behave. I think it's just really a fun flower to make. I just really love, look at that. Isn't that cool? Love it. Okay, and then on this one, I'm just going to layer these up. I'm not going to, this one's not going to be closed up at all. So it's just going to be like the other two layers. And you don't have to add this little piece. I just like it. I think as far as flowers go, this is a easy one on your hands. This one did come out prior to the molds being created, so it does have to be created by hand. I have never tried putting this in the universal mold. I wonder how it would work in there. We may have to give that a go one day. See, there's one of my crazy ideas. Chris over on the Heartfelt channel was saying she liked my crazy ideas, so I will probably pop it in that mold and see what it looks like. It may work, it may not. But even if it doesn't look like an aster, we can still turn it into a flower, right? All right, there's that one. And then this will be the final piece. All right. There we go. So we've got our flowers and our leaves all shaped. And we'll just, I think this will be on the bottom. I'm just going to offset those petals. And then I like to add one more. And for my two that are going to be open, which on this card, it's going to be the purple and the blue, I am going to add some stamens. Now my yellow stamens I have put in a bigger jar, just because these are the ones that I use the most. This is the, I believe is this the Guilt Trip, or I can't remember the name of it. This lighter yellow color. It comes in a set, but I just got a can and poured several smaller ones in, because I use this one a lot. So go ahead and okay, just makes it easier to dump them in and stuff like that. Now we'll add the next layer. All right. Whoops. I have to flick a few of those out. There we go. That is one thing with the aster. These little pieces will get down there between the petals. You got to kind of flick them out. There we go. All right, so that makes us done with that. And now we can decide which one of our centers that we want to use. So we're going to layer this one in, offsetting those petals. There we go. That hold it down. So some of you may remember that I went to Boston with my mom, not this past week, but the week before. And we had a great time. There was a hurricane out in the ocean right there on the coast the whole time we were out there. But it didn't stop us, and we were very fortunate. We didn't get rained on hardly at all. It was really nice. We had a great time. We went up to Cape Cod and we got to see humpback whales feeding. We saw hundreds of humpback whale, which was really something to see. So, do we like it this way with it all closed up? Or do we want to use it this way where it's a little more on the open side? I think I like it closed up because I did not color the inside. I think if I had inked the inside, which you probably should, I just didn't do that when I made that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this one in. Whoops, went in upside down, I dropped it. Okay, and we're just going to pop it right in there and all right, now on all of my flowers, I did something a little different than I normally do over on Heartfelt's channel. I'm going to put them here in this box. And I'm going to use a product called Cosmic Shimmer. It's an airless mister, and what this does is add like a shine to your flowers. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera. Ooh, right here in this, the way you can see it on the camera right now, you can really see the coloring, how you leave a white spot kind of right up there on the top so that the color is more out on the ends and down in the center. And that just really gives that illusion of dimension, doesn't it? Because of that white up there. Okay, the thing with Cosmic Shimmer and the airless misters is you got to shake them up really well before you spray them. Then you just pump this a few times. There it goes. And there we go. They're going to be perfectly misted. Ooh, that's pretty. I don't know how much of it you'll be able to see on camera, but while that mist is wet, I'm going to sprinkle them with just a little bit of glitter. And as that shimmer dries, the glitter is going to stick right there into that shimmer. So, which doesn't take long to dry at all. Let's see what, oh, here it is. I am going to use my tongs here to pick them up. And just transfer them over here. By the time we're ready to put them on our card, they're going to be completely dry. All right, so we now have all of our elements, so let's put it all together. Let's see, I think I'm going to use, is it Garden Patina? I think I want Garden Patina. So I'm going to go around the edges of my paper here with the Garden Patina. I don't like seeing white edges. I don't know why, but I prefer inking. And this is a very fast and easy way to ink your edges. Just so it looks like that paper was meant to stop there, that you don't have that white edge showing. That's just personal preference, of course. You don't always have to do that. That's just my own little quirk. There we go. And on this, I'm not going to worry about which way the writing goes because it's mostly going to be all covered up with the flowers and the feathers and things like that. So I'm not going to worry about that. But I did want to, if there's any florals on it, I was going to kind of place the florals in a corner that didn't have my big florals in it, if that makes sense. So. Okay, again, for this piece, I'm just going to go around it real quickly with my Garden Patina. The Garden Patina has always been one of my favorite colors that come in this ink brand. There we go. I'm going to glue that one to this one. And on this piece, there is writing, and I'm going to keep that writing pretty upright. This one, I'm just going to glue down to the oval that it fits in. There we go. Now each one of these I'm going to, whoops, I'm out of the camera. Each one of these I'm going to add foam on the back of it so that we can get some nice dimension. I made my flowers fairly tall, and I want to get that dimension in there, so. Adding my foam, and this is a fairly thick foam. I like it. It's a Sizzix or Spellbinders brand, and it comes like 5 little sheets. It's made for making like shakers and stuff where you can die cut an image out of it, but I really like it for putting on my cards. And it looks like this piece I actually glued down, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue this one down. My glue has been giving me trouble all day. Not wanting to come out of there. Just gonna center that. Isn't that a pretty die? I really like that little oval. I should pull it out and use it more often. Sometimes I forget I have it, so. All right, now this one I will go ahead and pop up. Use another little piece here. Got a big pile of foam paper over here. There we go. Like those. Just gonna center my happy birthday in there. Hopefully get it centered. There we go. And I am gonna go ahead and turn on my heat gun to add some of these elements. Now some of it I'll add with the glue, and then some of it I will use my heat gun. But I'll go ahead and get this heating up. There we go. All right, now before I glue anything down, I do like to kind of lay them out and decide how I want it. So I have 2 big ones this time. I can put the closed one up there and kind of do it like this. What do you think? Can do it like before. I think I like it like that. Yes? Okay. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to take my acetate pieces. And for the acetate pieces, I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue on the back side and just lay them so that they peek out. And I'm only gluing them down right at the back because I want to be able to tuck these other pieces in and around. So I don't want them to be so glued down that I can't get something under them. There we go. And let's see, I think this one's going to go right down here. All right, we got all of those in place. All right, now I'm going to add a few leaves. And I will tuck more leaves in, but right now I'm just kind of building up my flowers. This one I'm going to go ahead and put on. There we go. And take another leaf here. And on all of these, I'm just adding my glue right down at the tips, because when I get ready to feed in my feathers, I want to be able to tuck them in. Oops. There we go. And I think on this one, yeah, I think I can go ahead and, some of them I tore the leaves like the bottom off, so I just had the tips, but I think this one will still, this is a bigger flower, so that'll be fine. Gonna let these flowers kind of overlap each other since I have a big one this time. All right. It's looking good so far. All right. Now, for this piece, I am going to come in with the Majestic Violet, and I'm going to do those edges. And I want to add my curl, and I'm just going to do that with my fingers. And then back here at the back, I'm going to straighten it out because that's going to tuck. In the end, I'm going to tuck that right underneath here. So it looks like it might be a tad too long. I'll cut off just a little bit. You see how I'm pulling that between my fingers? Just getting the curl in there that I want. Now that can tuck back under here, my head and things. There we go. It's still awfully long. I'm gonna have to cut some more off. Okay. There we go. Hopefully that does it. Yeah, there we go. That's about right. All right. Put a little hot glue right here. I'm putting a little hot glue just right there so that when I place it, it'll stay where I want that curl to be. Right here. Just going to hold that down a moment to get that to stay. All right. So for the final things, we're going to add some more leaves. And like I said, I'm going to cut some of those leaves off shorter so that I can tuck them underneath here. And now I'm going to start adding in my pieces, that my feathery pieces. And I'm just going to cut them apart here in different ways. Let's see. So this piece, I might just tuck right under there like this. And this piece, come over here and tuck that down so that you don't see the places where I trimmed. Let's see, maybe that one has to go over here. Yeah, okay. That right over here. And then to cover up that cut line, I'm just going to add another leaf in there. Sometimes you got to lift up those aster petals so that you can pop things under there, and you've got hot glue all over. Okay. Now over here on this side, I'm going to cut off some of this one, and we're going to tuck one of these right down over here underneath the vellum piece, so it's like a third layer. So we've got, sorry, I'm out of the glue, I'm out of the view. So here we have the feather, another feather, and then the leaf. Over here we've got curlies. It's really coming together with dimension with all that pattern underneath. It's looking really good. Now this one, I'll go ahead and cut that off and add that just right up here. There we go. All right, how's that looking? I think I need just a little bit more of the feathers right down over here. So I'm just going to cut a little bit more off of here. And that's what I love about the feathery florals, is just cutting them and tucking them where I like them. You know, it just is a great filler to build up. Sorry, I've got so much glue on my fingers I can't touch anything. But it just works great to really fill up under your flowers and give that lots of dimension under there. I kind of want that flower that's on this one to be seen. So there we go. And the very last place that I want just a little bit of blue coming out is right back over here. So even though, sorry, even though I think I've got my camera angled wrong because it's not in my normal workspace. So even though this is the stem and a cut mark, I'm going to pop it in there at an angle so all you see is this little bit. Ooh, this one's even better. This was a little bigger. So let's see if we can pop that just right down under those leaves and get that pretty curls. Ooh, yeah, that's exactly what I'm wanting. So I'm going to do this with the wet glue. And while I've got it where I want it, just add some glue and reach in there and hold it down. And I got my scissors. I'm going to cut that off. There you go. All right. Look at that. I really like the way those feathers look, and the vellum and the ombre and all the different, just lots of pattern and texture going on this card, and I really like it. It is a lot going on, but I think it all works together beautifully. And so here's the two different versions, and I like the way the different colors of flowers complement that patterned paper underneath. And it's busy, but I think it really works. So you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments. Is it too busy for you, or do you like the patterns and textures going on in there? I think the flowers are big enough and solid enough that they kind of counteract all the texture going on underneath. So, all right, you can let me know what you think. I'm interested to hear. And I hope you've enjoyed playing with the asters and the feathery florals today. And I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera back. There I am. Now you see me in my glasses. This is how I look off camera. All right. Well, thanks so much for being here with me today for a Heartfelt Creation Friday here on Carrie Lee Creations. And I am going to be back with my regular scheduled programming. I sound like the PBS. I will have a Monday mix-up on Monday, and I may throw in a few Wednesdays there with Whimsy Wednesdays. And if you ever miss me here on my channel, I do go live on Whimsy Stamps YouTube channel every Thursday at noon, and on Heartfelt Creation channel every Friday at noon. So I hope you can join me there as well. All right, have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to crafting with you again soon. Bye-bye.